Hi everyone, this is just a quick tutorial on how to use Photoshop to make a low poly effect on a photo. It's fairly straightforward, and if you do, it's got meditative as well, and it can make a ordinary photo look quite good. So the first thing you do is you open up Photoshop 2021. If your Photoshop doesn't work yet, or you can't do that, just email me where there are some instructions on how to download it, or you can contact IT directly and they can actually take over your screen and fix that for you as well. It's kind of really important that you have it. I've also shared with you on the classroom page, but also on Teacher Dashboard or into your Google Drive, a copy of a photo that you're going to be using to edit. It's called Wolf to Low Poly. After you do this, you can do this with your own photo as well. So it's called Wolf to Low Poly Half. So if you go to Open, you go scroll down to the photo that you've downloaded, hopefully, that I've sent you, and click Open. This is the workspace that we'll be working in. The tools that we'll be using are the Move tool, which is up the top, the Polygonal Lasso tool. So if you can't see that, you just right-click and there's three options: Lasso, Polygonal, and Magnetic Lasso. The Polygonal Lasso is what we're using. It's the third one down. And the Crop tool is the other tool we'll be using today. This is the layers palette. This also needs to be open because we're going to be using the creating some different layers. If your layout doesn't look like this, you just go to Window, Workspace, Reset Essentials, and it'll make it look like this. We're also going to be using the Filter Blur option as well, Average. So the first thing to do, there are a few shortcuts. We're going to zoom in onto the picture. So you just press Control+ to zoom in. And to do this effect, what you need to do is actually select an area of the face or whatever you're doing that has the same color, because we're going to blend that all into one color. So I can see here it's quite big. I could probably make this much smaller, but I'm going to select this area, this whitish area here. This is way too big, sorry, but it's just good to show you. And to close it off, you just got to make sure you close that selection. And once it's selected, you can see there is like a moving little ants around it to tell us it's been selected. Now, to make a blur of that area, you go to Filter, Blur, and Average. You only ever have to do this once. And see now that's blurred that area all that one color. Now we need to deselect that area, so you press Control D to deselect, and we choose a new area. What we want to do is to make sure there's no gap between the two selections. So when we select the area, it's good sometimes to just go over slightly the original area. So I'm going to go from here to here, from here to here to make it this kind of looks the same. And this time, instead of having to go to Filter, Blur, Average, there's a shortcut now made for you. It's called Alt-Control-F. So if you just press Control-Alt-F, it'll do that part there. Control-D to deselect. I've done this really way too big, just to show you, your selection should be a little bit smaller than this. I'll just do one more just to give you an idea. Up the top, select this space, press Alt-Control-F, and it's done that, and Control-D. So you keep doing that until you cover the whole face, but just you don't need to do this part here, the background. Then you zoom out by pressing Control-. And what we're going to do now is make a copy of this, so it's going to make a full picture of the face. So you just right-click the background layer like this, and you go to Duplicate Layer, go OK. So now you've got a background layer and a copy of that layer. And that's what we're going to do we're going to flip that so it makes a complete face. Now we go to the Crop tool. The Crop tool doesn't just crop stuff, it also makes the area bigger. So we're just going to bring this out, so it's approximately double the size, and double click. And now we're going to bring this layer, so make sure this layer is selected here, using the Move tool, across to the other side here. But as you can see now, we need to flip that layer so they match up together. So to do that, you press another shortcut. Control-T is free transform. What that means is it allows us to do lots of stuff to this layer to transform it. Then you just right-click it. So you'll see that because they'll have those little X boxes there, but we don't need to touch them. You just right-click and go Flip Horizontal. And there you go, you double click and you've got your final, your complete picture with all your effects on there. You use your Crop tool if you've got a bit of white space there to make it how you want it. And that's what it looks like. And then you just, to save it, you go File, Save As, This particular thing will only let you save it as a TIFF. That's fine, just as long as it's not a Photoshop. It needs to be a photo. So a TIFF or a JPEG, give it a name, and save it. And you just go through these different, yeah, that's fine, yep. And it's saved there. So that's how you do it.